The most important media outlet in the country right now.
Welcome to The Watering Hole. This is episode 155.
Yep.
Guys,
This is a big one.
This is huge.
Yeah. Strap in.
I'm very, very, very excited about this one. I say it every time, but this one I am really, really excited about. We have the one and only Dean Burmester from Southern Guards GC. Dean, welcome to The Watering Hole, mate.
Thanks so much, lads. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be on the podcast. And yeah, let's see where we can come up with.
See where this takes us.
Thank you for saying you're excited to come on this podcast. That means a lot.
Yeah. We could end it there.
You say that now. Let's check in 45 minutes time.
Yeah, sure.
No, thank you. We really appreciate you giving up your time. Obviously, speaking to you a week after LIV Golf Virginia, what were your thoughts on the event, Trump National itself, and also meeting the Prez?
Yeah, obviously, it was, a great event. The course was unbelievable. And honestly, we played the practice rounds. I didn't see any of the scores, including my own. I honestly didn't think anybody was going to get past 16 under. And then Herbie opens up to 8 under, 9 under those first 2 days. And I was like, holy smokes. I mean,
It's crazy.
This is a different league of golf we're playing right now. And then, I also had a great weekend on the 12-hour weekend. To finish fourth, obviously, Bryson put me by one, but it was fun. It was really cool. I mean, obviously, President Trump coming over, it was great to see him again. I haven't seen him in a little while. He's obviously been busy with a lot of other things, but it was great to have his support and nothing.
Yeah, nice.
Perfect. Now, off week this week, heading into Korea next week. What have you been up to back home?
Yeah, so back home in South Africa, I actually just got back from a trip in Kalahari with my friends and Charles Watson and his family.
Oh, nice.
So we kept it in Southern Guards. We just had a lovely trip full of sunset and beers, which is
Very
lovely.
nice.
Beautiful.
Now we're back into the full swing of practicing, and I'm building a house at the moment, so we're looking at that project and then juggling kids at school and it's a normal family life like anybody else.
Back to regular life.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go. Obviously, proud South African, Dean, but actually born in Zimbabwe. Take us through your childhood in Zimbabwe, getting into golf. What was that like? And did you play any other sports growing up as well?
Yeah, so I played golf from the age of 5 years old. My whole family played. My grandfather, both my parents, my uncles, aunts, everybody played golf. So it was a very social thing back in Zimbabwe. My mom obviously was a very decorated amateur golfer, semi-professional, I would say. Holds multiple course records all over Africa and has won all African ladies champions all over the place, which is pretty cool. And then my dad was a professional cricketer.
Oh, wow.
And I actually grew up more on that side. I went to British playing. So, grew up, just practicing and playing cricket every waking moment I got, pretty much. And I loved it. Then, the year I turned 14, there was obviously a lot of disruption in Zimbabwe and a lot of land claims and things like that going on. And unfortunately, one of those was our farm. And, they walked onto our farm and basically gave my dad an ultimatum.
Wow.
Like 2 weeks to kind of pack up, and we got notified at school. We were boarding school, and we got told at boarding school, you guys are going to have to move out. Things are going to change, and we didn't really know what was going on. And my parents were great. I mean, I'm actually older now. I'm 37. My dad was 35 when this all happened.
Yeah.
And my mom 33. And so it was kind of interesting going through that the last couple of years, because being where I am in my life, thinking of being uprooted like that was crazy.
Yeah.
But what a blessing in disguise, because I was so cricket driven and never really thought about golf. And then moved to Bloemfontein in South Africa. And yes, progressively I realized I wasn't going to do anything cricket. I was, these guys in South Africa leaps ahead of where Zimbabwe was at that stage. So I got more into my golf. And then, when I was 17, I entered like my first kind of junior event back home. And, ended up winning it, and then entered another one, won that one as well. And realized, geez, maybe I'm good at this. So went back to my parents and said, what do you think if I take on golf a little more full time? And they were all for it. Basically, they wanted me to finish my schooling, and then they were going to give me 2 years of amateur career and try and turn professional from there. That's a good study. And, basically, my parents said they've been waiting 12, 13 years for me to make that decision. They always thought I was better at golf.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, right.
We're going to get to a little bit more in South Africa. You and I have had a bit of a chat a couple of weeks ago about South Africa specifically, and we'll touch a bit more on that in this episode. But look, obviously, there's been a lot going on with LIV Golf recently. How are you feeling about the future of the league, and maybe take us through a little bit what that week was like in Mexico when all that news broke, and we were getting reports from everywhere that it was all over and was all finished. What was that like on the ground there?
Yeah, there's so many ins and outs of what was going on. As a unit, I think LIV Golf is very solidified from a player and staff perspective. I think the players and staff are so for it, and that they can see the impact it's having in certain parts of the world, and what we're able to achieve. South Africa obviously being one of those, Australia another one.
Yep.
And then there's been massive growth in other places. So, when that all hit and there was that uncertainty kind of going to the course, I think Scott did an amazing job. Scott O'Neill did an amazing job of kind of calling us in together. First of all, got all the captains together and had, a couple of meetings with them and the GMs of all the teams. And then eventually put on like a taco night at the golf course. The one afternoon, basically, we all just sat there in our areas. And he said, look, things are looking different, but this is what he lives for. This is what he does with private equity. And this is, what he's good at. So we got to trust him, and he's got a way forward. He's going to come up with a great plan for everybody. And this thing's going to survive because, we're betting on a lot of people, 7.5 billion rather than 350 or 380 million, whatever it is in America. So we're taking golf to the world and we're growing it, and we just got to trust the process. Obviously, I think from signing, when I signed, we kind of all knew that the sustainability would be very difficult. It almost felt like we hit the lottery in a way. We've played golf all over the world on multiple tours, pretty much everybody there, and we know how tough it can be and what you go through. And then you get to LIV and you feel like, damn, that was kind of all worth it, right in the beginning. You're playing every week for these massive purses, no cuts, and you treat it like royalty wherever you go. It's amazing. You don't really get that anywhere else in the world. So we kind of knew that the model wasn't sustainable, and I think the way it happened is probably just the more abrupt way, and being leaked into the media like that and stuff was stuff that was the uncomfortable thing more than the actual news of it happening. We kind of, I think, sense, certainly from the Southern Guards, the four of us, we spoke a lot about it. We knew the model wasn't sustainable. It's just how we leave a mark going forward in order to grow the team into a brand that can be something that people look up to and enjoy. So, from that perspective, I think that was our initial goal. And then, it all kind of happened that way. The vibe was certainly down. There wasn't a lot of chatter on the golf course or on the driving range, for sure. I think a lot of guys were assessing options and what, were we even going to tee off? Guys, a lot of rumors spread within the league, and Scott did an amazing job of kind of keeping us all together and in a direction, that I think it was the Wednesday afternoon. And then, from Thursday, it was back to business. It felt like normal golf again. It was funny. There's so many people from outside messaging. I won't mention any names or anything, but from other tours all over the world, asking, have we been locked out of the gates? Are we being allowed into the golf course? Have we been thrown out of our hotel room? What's going on? And we just like, that's exactly what's happening.
I'm stuck outside. No one let me in.
Really? We're like, no, you idiot. It's obviously not happening. Don't worry. We're playing golf. We're playing off on Thursday. Like, just relax. And so it was quite funny about how fast it spreads like wildfire. From different places. So it's good that we got to Virginia and we actually had a really successful event there, I feel. So it's we're on the up again, I think.
Yeah. It seemed like such an overreaction, and I think the disappointing thing, like we've spoken about on this show a bit, the disappointing thing was it seemed like certain media outlets were kind of celebrating the end of LIV Golf. I mean, feel free to like not answer if you don't want to, but is that disappointing from your perspective as well?
I think it's. Do you know what? I think competition is obviously healthy and it's needed, and I think that's what LIV has brought.
Yep.
And I think if you look at a lot of these media platform guys and a lot of social media guys that get into a lot of these chats and stuff, they've all benefited from all of this. So I don't know why they're celebrating that it's done, because the longer it lasts, the more they're going to benefit from it. So I don't see. I get that they want to be on the one side of the press. Fine, if you want to be that, or if you paid to be there, or whatever the issue is. I don't know exactly how these things work, but if that's the story, then albeit, like, that's not really going to bother me much. But don't celebrate the fact that you know it's gone. It's actually done you a favor. Like, LIV's brought in healthy competition and has proved flaws in the biggest tour in the world, and they've made massive improvements. And kudos to them. I saw Brian. I think it's the new guy, the Brian Rotliffe. Is that right?
Brian
Did I say that right?
Roll-up. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Roll-up. Yeah. So Brian Roll-up just, he came out and said it for what it is, because he's a businessman, and he said, LIV's shown a lot of faults that we have, and we benefited from it. Not only us as staff and a business, but the players. And it's all funny. It comes around a time when other things on that tour are happening and changes are happening on that tour, and it's been a distraction, straight back onto the LIV bandwagon, which is an easy way out and an easy exit for these guys. So from us, I feel, they should be happy that we're around, and hopefully we're around for a long time, because we can, improve all of the, we can improve the game of golf all around the world, and hopefully we can get a better narrative in the media and make this thing, a positive thing, which is the way I see it, basically.
I think, like, to Brian Roll-up's credit, like you said there, he did say, as you mentioned, LIV has highlighted a lot of the things that we can improve in as a tour, and that's awesome to see. I guess, when we're saying about the people celebrating the death of LIV, when it hadn't even gone anywhere anyway, it was all rumours.
Yeah.
And people saying, it's a good day in golf and all that sort of thing. It's like, well, we look at it, being from Adelaide, and you've experienced the Adelaide tournament. We'll obviously go and talk about the South African event soon, but I mean, it's not a great day for golf when potentially those people are then starved of golf, or those countries are starved of golf, which they had been for years. So, I mean, does it wear a little thin with the players on the tour when they're hearing those kind of things all the time, or is it just something that it's like, it's another opinion that we just don't have to worry about?
No, I think the players certainly almost get a laughable reaction out of it.
Yeah.
We know that we're going to travel far, and we know we're going to get on a plane and do many miles.
Yep.
But that's what we signed up for. We
Yep.
signed up to come to Adelaide. We signed up to come to South Africa. We signed up to go to Asia. We signed up to play golf outside of the US. And that's what we're all about. A certain player mentioned that John Rahm might not want to go to South Africa for some unknown reason.
Yeah, I remember that.
Who's that guy?
I speak to John Rahm about it, and John Rahm was like, you know what? Those are probably the greatest fans I've ever played golf in front of.
Yeah.
And he's like, I really enjoyed it. No negativity. There was nothing. It was sharp. It was brilliant. And they were right behind us as a team. He says, that's what team sport's all about. And he thought it was the greatest week. I played 2 days with the guy, and he loved it. So, and he said it was on his calendar for ages to come to South Africa. He couldn't wait to come down here. So I don't understand why people have to put words in other people's mouth.
Yeah.
It's just it's laughable, really, from our standpoint, which is a good thing. We see it as, well, then obviously we're a talking point for a reason, right? We're obviously doing something that maybe they could be either jealous of, or or unimpressed. I actually don't know where the thought pattern is. It's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what the reaction would be in South Africa if that particular player went down and played down there.
True. Not very favourable at the moment.
I can tell you, he wouldn't get the same reaction he did the first time he came down.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess just to finish off on that point, we won't go, like I said, harp on it too much, but obviously some of the things that Scott O'Neill, who's been great, really, in everything that he's come out and said, and as you mentioned, how comfortable he made you guys feel as well.
Great leader.
Yeah, great leader, and obviously saying the right things, and it seems like you couldn't get a better person for the job to lead it forward. But where do you see the future of LIV? And I mean, everything sort of looks pretty optimistic for the ones that actually are pretty in depth in it, and everyone's sort of behind the product and can believe in it and the blueprint that it would work. Where do you see it going to, and are you optimistic about the future?
Well, look, I obviously think they're going to have these bigger events, i.e., I think Adelaide and South Africa are probably going to be in the mix for those, definitely.
Yep.
Just because people are behind it, like you say. Then I think they're going to find emerging markets and growing markets that they can, throw a little bit more money at, because there's a massive potential there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know what. Hold on. Do that. That's the old ice machine warming up there.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, might need that one later
Yeah.
at some point this weekend. But anyway, so they, I feel like they're going to come up with a maybe a 2-tier kind of thing, is the way I see it being sustainable in my own mind. If I think about it, I feel like you'll have, let's call them bigger events, around the world, and in these markets where it's certainly, being embraced and being accepted. I think, they've obviously signed certain events for next year already. Mexico, Hong Kong, South Africa, Adelaide, are full already. So the number of events I'm not sure on, and what that even looks like, I'm not sure on. I think the style of golf, team golf and individual, will probably stay. It's just whether that they embrace the team side of it maybe a little more, maybe bigger purse on the team side, maybe less on the individual side, and then players get a cut of the team money because, on their performance, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. Maybe totally flip it, make it something a little different, like very different, and go with it, but still be within the window for the world ranking. I think it's a tightrope they got to work and walk on and figure out. And I wouldn't want to be in that seat, of course. But then I feel like there's an opportunity to offer players maybe a little bit of freedom, depending on what the rest of the world looks like.
Yep.
Guys can maybe go back, play DP World if they'll have them. If the PGA Tour might have a few of the big guys back, and they'll be able to go and play certain events on the PGA Tour on an invite basis, maybe, or possibly even on a regular basis. That could be an issue. That could be a pathway. There could be maybe they go and play certain national opens all over the world, and that becomes your second half of the season, or the way they fit it. So there's different scenarios that could play out. I mean, the great thing about it is I think it's, once again, they've created a product that they know can work. Now they have another blank canvas to go and say, right, so we know it works in certain places. How can we improve it, refine it, make it better, and make it more streamlined so that it's sustainable? And I think that's an amazing place to be in, because it gives you, not only an element of creativity, but it gives you the freedom within a security boundary that that it works. So I think that hopefully, the right guys are behind there, and they're doing a great job, which obviously I trust that they are. And from there, we'll move on.
Yeah, I think so. I think every dealing we've had with Scott O'Neill, you couldn't ask for a better person leading the organisation at the moment, I don't think. Let's leave it there for the future, for the time being.
And we do really appreciate you
do.
answering that too, Dean. So it probably hasn't been the easiest for you.
I know a lot of guys are very curious, as am I. Don't worry, I'm just as curious as everybody else. What happens?
That's about as hard hitting as our journalism gets in this room.
There you go.
Asking the hard questions.
You mentioned it a little bit there when you were talking about, joining LIV Golf, but what was the experience like for you joining LIV, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. Obviously, I was a journeyman, what you would call a journeyman professional, probably. Played all around the world. Started in South Africa, moved to Europe, then played a little bit on the Corn Ferry, a bit on the PGA Tour. Played multiple majors, done okay, and played a bit in Asia, and then got my PGA Tour card through the Corn Ferry finals. Literally played 7 events. I think I was lying 20 odd on the money list. Had a great start to the season and in the fall, and Louis phoned me on the Tuesday of Amex. He gave me a phone call. He said, "Listen, I don't know what your feelings are about it. He hadn't really tested the water with me at all, and said, yeah, I don't know what you feel, but the spot is yours if you want it. We really want a good fourth player. We feel like you'll be a good fit." They were after a younger player, but that didn't really work out. So, he basically said, look, I've got a short window. I've got 10 days that this has got to get done. So you've got like 5 days to make your decision, and then we'll get the
Wow.
paperwork done. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So
Yeah, no pressure,
I know
Dean.
that-
No pressure.
yeah, no pressure. Wednesday I went out and I asked a whole bunch of other guys that were on the PGA Tour a few questions, and that's probably how they figured I'd been approached. But by Sunday of that event, apparently I was going already, and I hadn't even decided myself. But apparently I was going. And then I got to Torrey Pines on the Monday, practice on Tuesday. I was on the putting green, and a bunch of the caddies came over and said, congrats, what an amazing opportunity. You're going to change your life, going to change your caddy's life, all these things. And I was like, well, I still hadn't really made the phone call to Louis. I'd kind of made up my mind. I'd spoken to my wife and my family, and everybody sort of agreed that it would be a good step for me. It would certainly, if I got even just 3 years out of it, it would be life-changing, financially for us. And also time-wise, it would be amazing. So those are my two major reasons for going.
Yep.
Obviously, world ranking was a possibility still back then. We didn't know what that looked like, but I'd kind of done my deal. The only thing I hadn't done is played Augusta. Everything else I'd pretty much done. I'd seen every major, I'd played in every WGC. I'd done some cool things, played with some amazing players. So I figured, there's still great golf. I'm still going to go out there. I had multiple chats with the other 3 guys on a group as to, what it looks like. Is the standard of golf still great? The golf courses we play, and they were amazing. They were open and honest, and the standard of golf was fantastic. So yeah, basically that Tuesday night of Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines, I phoned Louis and I said, all right, I'm in, but these are my conditions. I have to play up until the AT&T at Pebble Beach because I was partnering a dear friend of mine who's actually Seth Wall, who was the ex-CEO of the PGA of America. He was my partner there. He obviously didn't know that I was signing LIV at the time. Yeah, so it made for an awkward conversation. He was great about it, to be fair, but I was nervous. It felt like I was proposing again. It was nerve-wracking, sweaty palms and everything, but he was brilliant. So yeah.
Did you still get down on one knee or not?
I mean, not quite. I mean, I go down on one knee raking one of his bunkers at Cypress Point on the
That's
Wednesday.
nice.
I suppose that probably counts.
And did it make it a bit easier being like a South African team? And did you know like all the guys on the team beforehand?
Yeah, so I knew all 3 of them. I played with all 3 of them a lot.
Yep.
I knew Charles and Brandon probably the best. I'd known Brandon since junior golf. And then obviously all through professional golf. I'd known Charles through professional golf. I'd played with him multiple times. And then Louis, I played a couple of practice rounds with at majors and other tournaments all around the world. Never been drawn with him in an event, but spent quite a bit of time with him off the course as well at a couple of these events. But he's probably the guy I knew the least out of the 3. But it was for me, it was an amazing moment because those are also my area, probably the 3 best golfers to come out of my area in South Africa.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of recognition from them, for them to want to back me and say, hey, we need you here and we want you for multiple seasons and all these things, was kind of that cool recognition moment. It was like it was cool. Pitching up at Mayakoba at my first event was awesome. They made us feel so great. And my family, their families were so welcoming. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's one thing we hear a lot when we speak to anyone from LIV is the word
100%.
family.
Yeah.
And that's come across again there. The team thing is something that we love, and that's something that unique to LIV Golf. We saw Brandon Grace had a tough season a couple of years ago, got his spot back on LIV. How important is it keeping this current group together, and how do you all support each other to succeed individually and as a group as well?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting dynamic because it's nothing we've ever dealt with before. You're always supporting your mate and you're always trying to help him out. But now we've really got a core tight-knit group of 4 guys. We really know our games well enough. We can kind of see what's going to happen. For instance, Louis tends to change drivers and go back to his ping driver a lot. And Charles calls it on a Monday. Charles, he hit like 10 with another driver. Charles like, nah, ping will be in by Thursday. we all know things like that, and it's an interesting dynamic. That Brandon dynamic, for instance, it's difficult because when you're playing badly and you or things are just not happening out there, you might not even really be struggling a lot. It's hard, and he struggled with the putter quite a bit, and we saw that. And then it's a difficult thing to go up to a guy who's a professional athlete and has reached the pinnacle of the sport, pretty much,
Yeah.
top 10 in the world, and you go to him and say, "Hey, dude, I think you should try the long putter." And he was kind of all over the place, and Charles walked to him and put it in his hands, said, "Here you go, have a few putts of that." And he hit like 3 or 4 putts with Charles' putter, and then that week he still putted with a short putter, which we all thought was crazy because he putted great with a long putter. And then the very next week he changed to the long putter, and that was him. He was gone. Back into that season he played poorly, but he turned the corner. His ball striking started to get better. He got a better shape, and everything just because of that little mental switch, and the putting started to improve. So it was no surprise he went to the promotions event and finished second.
Yeah.
And kind of got his place back in the team, which was cool. Kind of justified it, and then boom, he's gone again, and he's back to being Brandon, the most bubbly guy on the team, and upbeat, and kind of pulling everybody along. And yeah, it's an amazing thing he's kind of transitioned through, and it's pretty cool.
He's playing well this year as well. That's good to see.
It's got to be really
yeah.
comforting being such an individual, lonely sport at times to have 3 other guys that you can go back and bounce this stuff off. Like it's got to be a win.
Is that something hard to do though? Like you said, another professional athlete giving them advice. Is it something you go in kind of softly, or if you see something that needs improving, would you mention it to a teammate?
I think so. I think there's only someone wise told me this once. He says you can only help someone who wants to be helped, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a mantra of mine. I'm always out since I was a young professional. I always went to the older guys and try to learn tricks of not only golf but how to travel better, how to do things like that. So from my end, I think it's quite easy. I always ask a lot of questions. I speak to John. I even speak to Adam, his caddy, Bryson, Jibo. I speak to a lot of guys just to test my mettle and see, if I'm thinking down the right path. If I get an opportunity to win a major, am I thinking down the right frame of mind, or even just to win a LIV event, am I there? Am I all in it? And then from that perspective, I'm okay. So I think the guys are quite comfortable coming to me. Charles, for instance, we've been coached by the same coach for quite a long time, and him and I have a similar pattern towards like golf swing. So he'll always come to me and say, "I'm feeling that. What do you see?" And then we'll have a conversation about it, and vice versa. So it's quite an easy transition from that. And then when it comes to like chipping, for instance, Louis will always go to Brandon for chipping advice because he's got such a wicked short game. So he always goes to Brandon. "Oh, well, what do you do when you want to hit that shot, or what do you do when you want to do that?" So we're always playing around with each other, and we're quite open. We're lucky from the 4 of us. I think none of us really has the ego, so all 4 of us kind of we're great mates and we get on. So we can take the hit if somebody says, "Listen, you're not pulling your weight." The guys are pretty open and honest about it, and I think that's a great thing. It certainly helped me. Kind of last year, I went through a bit of a dip in the middle of the season where I really struggled, and it was more off the course stuff. But it was nice to have those guys there, and I could just bounce the off the course stuff with them a little bit, and talk to them and say, "Well, I'm not happy with that, and all of these things are going on. How am I supposed to focus on golf with everything going on?" And kind of lost my way a bit. And if it wasn't for those 3 guys and my team behind me, there's no ways I would have pulled myself back and got the W and the win, and ended up having my best season yet.
Yeah. That's it's interesting you were saying about going to different teammates there. I know that Whitey here, when he plays golf and he's struggling and he's going through it, I'll often say to him, I say, "Whitey, what do you tell yourself when you want to hit a good shot?" And he goes, "Louis Oosthuizen."
Yeah.
And every time he says
tempo
that,
check.
every time he says that before he hits a shot, he just absolutely stripes one. He thinks of that tempo, and he just thinks of Louis' beautiful swing,
He's got
and
a
he
beautiful
nails it. So that's what good teammates do,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I do that when I'm struggling with tempo. I watch Louis hit balls from side on for good 5-10 minutes, and then visualize the tempo, and work on getting it back. So I suppose we're pretty similar, Whitey. I suppose in our own way.
Take that, Whitey.
I'm taking that and putting that on the resume for sure.
Two-time winner on LIV, Dean. I feel like the third's only around the corner. Changing direction just a little bit. One thing I wanted to know: we saw you playing in the LIV Jewels last year. I was actually hoping that was going to come back again this year, but you seem pretty comfortable stepping into the content world. Is that something you can see yourself doing a little bit more of down the track?
Yeah, I think so. I've actually kind of thought about it of late. Look, our team's thought about it, whether I should kind of test the water and start my own YouTube, maybe another Instagram handle and see how that goes, or try and grow my own maybe a bit more.
You should.
I do like the camera. I do like the limelight, I think. I really enjoyed the Jules. I think George Bryan was an amazing partner. He was brilliant. He came out to me the day before and we had 3 holes together and just had a bit of a laugh, and he told me what it was all about and kind of prepped me for it. And then the only thing I was really bad at was the shot tracer. I kept walking in front of it.
Step in front of the shot tracer. Yeah.
The guys are giving me a lot of gears, but everything else was brilliant. The chirping, I mean, there was some great chirps there and some good crack and conversation, and yeah, it was really good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that 9 holes. I mean, went back in the playoff. I mean, FP hit an unbelievable shot.
Yeah, that was a crazy
ridiculous
shot.
Basically crushed my dreams. I can see myself, being in the Jules the rest of the season, and then I got one invite and that was it. So, it was what it is.
I think you're definitely worthy of more. Even the guys are saying, it was good to see you out there in the course, and that, especially in that kind of scenario. But yeah, I reckon, definitely the YouTube for you is on the horizon. That's for sure. You'd have 3 people watching you for
100%.
sure, Dean. So yeah.
There we go. Oh, there you go. Okay, I'll start then. If I got three,
We'll like and comment on everything.
Yeah.
No worries.
I guess a little bit further to that as well. Another thing I wanted to sort of know: Steve here played in the Pro-Am LIV Adelaide, played with Tyrrell Hatton and Tom McKibben. Obviously, for amateurs like us and everyone else around the world, it's a real thrill, and we get a little bit starstruck getting to play with you guys. I want to know, you get the chance to play with athletes and celebrities in these Pro-Ams. Have you ever had a moment where you kind of get to the first tee at the Pro-Am and you're like, oh shit, I'm playing with this guy? Like,
yeah, there's been a couple. I mean, when I was a kid, Jacques Callis was one of my big heroes growing up.
yeah, nice.
And, I walked up to a Pro-Am here in South Africa once, and I was playing with him, and I was like kind of blown away. And then last year I got to play with Scottie Pippen, NBA
nice.
legend.
Yeah.
I walked onto the tee, and I swear I thought I didn't think he was real. He was so
He's
tall.
a monster of a man.
It didn't look real. He looked like a shadow. It was amazing. And he's a good golfer too. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was so interactive with everyone. I was like, wow, what a nice guy. I mean, yeah, there's been a few. And then South Australia's very own Callum Ferguson. I got to play with him the first time I played in Aussie. He was good. He was good crack. So I've actually made good mates with him. He's good value. So yeah, there's been a few. I saw obviously Steve Smith last year.
Yep.
I mean, he's obviously a legend. I'm obviously big into the cricket stuff. I don't know many of the AFL guys who played. I got to play with Matthew Hayden's daughter.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
to play with her there a couple of years ago. So that was good. Yeah. So that was Grace Hayden. So that was good fun. And yeah, there's been some good crack out there. I can't think of everybody, but I will tell you that one of the most nervous I've ever been was US Open Shinnecock. Last hole I ever hit, not the Pro, but last hole I ever hit, this is just my fanboy moment. I slam dunked my second shot right in front of Tiger Woods.
Oh,
He was right behind the green. And he gave me like a little fist pump like this. And
Very
DJ was behind with him and everything. It was my first ever major I'd ever played.
oh wow.
That's a
man,
moment.
I can't get a greater moment than that. Went to the range, practiced everything. Tiger came right behind me, hit like 50, 60 balls behind me. I got to watch him for a little bit. And then I walked into the locker room, and I was B, but then I'm right at the front, and obviously he's Woods W right at the end, just before the shower. So I was on my way after a gym session to go and shower, and I walked past, and he looked over this way and looked right, and he said, "Hey, are you the kid who slam dunked it on 18?" And I said, I was like, "Yeah, that's me."
Mr.
And he
Tiger.
just put out his fist like this and just gave me a little fist bump. He said,
Oh,
"Nice
that's
shot."
nice.
And then and that was it. And I was like, man, as a kid growing up watching Tiger, I was like,
That's huge.
that's a cool moment. So yeah, I get those moments.
That's awesome. That's wicked.
That's so good. You mentioned LIV Adelaide there a couple of times. Obviously, we're very proud of our hometown event here. One thing I wanted to ask you about, we had one of the more iconic moments in LIV Golf history, really, with the first ever team playoff between the then Stinger GC and Ripper GC. What was that like for you on course? How hostile was it? And what were the nerves like playing that hole?
And did you like the banter in there? Because some people thought it went too far, and other people thought it was fantastic. Obviously you were there. I just want to know in that answer what you thought of it.
I think there's probably two sides to the coin. Obviously, like you say, some people probably thought it was a lot, others not. Louis and I, when Louis said, "Dean, I need you. I think you can hit a good tee shot close to the green."
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you sure?" I mean, so, I know how many people are going to be there. He's like, yes, it's you and me. Come, let's go. I was like, okay, let's go. And we got on a golf cart on the way there. I was sitting next to him. And he said, whatever you do, hit it as hard as you can, the first one. And anyway, I hit it down the fairway. He hit it down the fairway. And we're walking down there. And he says, don't hear a word they say. And I said, what do you mean? He says, they are going to be against us. I said, I know. But he said, don't hear a word they say. So I was like, oh, that's good advice. But that's also the wrong thing to tell me because now obviously
Yeah,
I'm going to hear
everything.
everything.
They're a bunch of animals.
Yeah, and we got over the boys. I mean, Cam was on the left, I think Leash was on the right, and they both hit, and Louis was next to hit. And I'll never forget standing side on from him, and it was unreal. This one guy, obviously in the crowd, had the perfect shadow, and he was hanging his hand over his ball and going, "Ooh."
Oh no!
I was standing there thinking, this is brilliant. I grew up when it was like people in the stadium. I was like, I think this is brilliant. And yeah, unfortunately, look, we didn't get it done. And there was a little bit of a hostile moment behind me there. But I won't say what the guy said, but that's the only guy who went too far. Everybody else was brilliant. I thought there were a lot of great chirps, and I thought they were amazing. So yeah, for the most part, it was brilliant. I mean, when they started singing around the green, one of us, after I left it in the bunker, I thought that I deserve that one too.
Yeah.
I
I thought it was brilliant.
It was kind of on the line. I feel like, it's all well and good, but just not in someone's backswing.
Yeah.
Nothing like that, and just keep it respectful as well.
Yeah, but
Such
you play
a
enough golf in America, you get used to that. Some idiot
Yeah.
shouting, "Bah, bah, bah, bah," on your way back.
All that bullshit.
That 18th hole at Grange has got some great memories. Obviously, we had AK this year as well. Are you looking forward to Kooyonga next year? Have you played Kooyonga, or have you heard anything about Kooyonga?
So I haven't played it. Somebody I spoke to, I can't remember who it was, went and played while we were down there. Said it was shorter, tighter. Said it was going to be a proper test. Like if they firm it up like they had done, down there in general, basically in Australia, whenever you play golf, tournament golf down there, it's firm and fast.
Yep.
He says if they do that, I mean, he says it'll be a proper test. So I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be another beautiful traditional Australian course, which is, for us as professionals, firm, fast running like that, having to calculate stuff like that is brilliant. We love that. So I'm really excited to get up there, and I think it's going to host an amazing event.
Yeah. Let's get to South Africa. What an amazing event!
Yeah. Wow.
We've spoken about it a lot on this show. One that we've penciled in for next year already. We've definitely got to get there next year.
got to find a way.
When did you first get wind of this event happening? And how heavily involved was the team in actually, bring it to fruition?
Yeah, so we kind of planned beginning of 25. We planned to go to LIV and say, look, we need an event in South Africa. Obviously, we plan it. Louis goes and does the talking. And they didn't shoot us down totally, but they were, the algorithm and this and that. And we were like, listen, we've got merch in South Africa now, and the stores here, they can't keep up. It keeps selling out. I'm
Oh,
telling
wow.
you that the tournament will sell out. We can't keep up with the merch. And so they said, all right, we'll take a flight down there. So we had a guy, he's one of the more prolific general managers that's come out of South Africa, been to America, the UK. He ran JCB for a while, Chris Bentley. And
Yep.
we approached him and said, hey, Chris, do you mind, when LIV come, do you mind hosting them and showing them a few potential places that could host the event? So they flew down to Cape Town, looked at a place down there called Pearl Valley. Obviously, there are a couple other venues in Johannesburg, but then last place they visited was Stain City. They said, look, I want you to come and see it. We think it's big enough if this is what you're looking for. And it was Ross Hallett who flew down from LIV Golf. And Ross said he went in, they saw the grounds the morning before he flew. And he said before he got on the airplane, he phoned Scott O'Neill and said, right, we've got our place. We can have one in South Africa. So then Scott came to us and said, look, you guys need to come up with the funding to find the event, which is where we came in as a team. That was where we kind of came into our own. So we all pulled as many strings as we could. We knew we needed some government help and some backing. Obviously, their support is needed as well. So we reached out to the Minister of Sport, and probably seven days later, he said, I'm flying to Korea. I'll see you there. And then, he flew into Korea. We showed him around what the event would look like. And he drove a practice round with us, and we had a dinner with him. And the next day, he had a piece of paper in front of Scott O'Neill and said, okay, I'll guarantee the amount of money. I'm going to come up with the sponsors, and the boys will help, and we'll guarantee it. But I need you to sign a piece of paper for me telling me that it's definitely coming.
Yeah.
And Scott signed, and they shook hands right there in Korea when they basically made the announcement. It all happened in like 3 days, and he flew back home. And then we had an event, and we had a premises, and then LIV basically headhunted Chris Bentley for that, and we got a few other people employed by LIV for the South African event in particular. And I mean, they did an incredible job for a first one. It was next level. It was so cool to be a part of that kind of process and what it would look like, and the golf course and the fan village and everything. It was so cool.
Yeah, hats off. That event looked incredible. We were worried because we were like, oh no, this is going to be bigger and better than Adelaide. And then we saw it, we're like, oh, we think it might be bigger and better than Adelaide.
Yeah, the
looked
course itself,
amazing.
the course itself looked absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
We almost had to change our name to the Lion's Den podcast.
That was pretty cool. I mean, I obviously had some amazing moments, and the course was great. It was just a shame it was a bit wet, so the greens were a little too soft. But hopefully, if we get a good date in, then we can prep the course proper to play a little tougher for the boys and be a decent test.
We said after the event, I don't think there was anyone on the course having more fun than Dean Burmester.
Oh yeah.
So after the event is done, how much did it mean to you and the rest of the team as well?
I mean, unbelievable 4 days for all of us. Every time we had our own little hospitality area there. And every time we got in there after the round of golf and media and everything we were doing, we had like a minute or two with each other, and all of us were like, how crazy is that out there? How amazing is it? Like, I've never experienced it anywhere where I normally go and the guys are shouting, who the hell is that guy playing with DJ and wrong? You know, and in America, and now all of a sudden, I've got all these people shouting, Burmy, 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 down every fairway, going crazy. I mean, all I could do was clap hands and high five and fist bump. I'd never experienced anything like that in my life before. So, to go through that, and that basically pulled me through the 4 days. I mean, it was all adrenaline. We were supposed to have a proper South African barbecue, what we would call a braai, and a few drinks after with friends and family, and nobody made it. Everybody crashed and went through. All the players were done. But Man, it's some cool moments. I think of so many
Yeah.
funny things and great kids moments and stuff out there in the crowd. And that's why we did it. That's why we came to live golf, and growing the game like that in our home country is something special.
We've spoken about this before, Burmy, but I just wanted to ask you again. The national anthem on 18. I think I said it when I spoke to you. Like, it even got me kind of teary.
100%.
Like, what was that like for you?
Not a dry eye and I can't but I get goosebumps here on the back of my neck right now. I've got them. I mean, I think about it like how incredible to have that moment with our president, right up there.
Yeah.
Right by us. We've all watched numerous rugby games, cricket matches as kids and grown-ups and stood there in the crowd and sung it, but never been in the arena ourselves and had it sung to us. I mean, a dream moment. If I were to peel over and die, I would make sure it's just after that. Then I'd be a happy, happy man for sure. I mean, moment of my life, really. One of the top 10. Unbelievable. It felt like the ground was vibrating under our feet. I don't know how Brandon even hit that putt. He was.
Yeah.
He looked at us and just nodded his head. I mean, his eyes were. He was crying like a baby. The poor guy. But yeah, it was incredible. That on the first tee were every day were unbelievable.
Yeah.
It looked amazing on obviously on TV, and then it sounded amazing. So you just magnify that, and being there would have been incredible. And you mentioned the weather. It didn't seem to matter to anyone there, that it was raining, and it kind of added to the theatre and the drama of, especially with the playoff. Like, obviously we were pulling hard for you guys to get it done. It would have been an amazing story. But I mean, it added to it, and obviously, Bryson hitting that incredible shot from where he was. It just, the whole thing, the event, like, we've heard a lot of people talk about it with Adelaide, and I guess we're a little bit biased being, it's in our backyard, but South Africa was really special as well. And Adelaide's had that kind of, that title as well, but it felt really special. Even that came across in the broadcast, so I can imagine how it was. But yeah, hats off, it was an amazing looking event.
Especially on debut.
Yeah. And yeah, I think, obviously as long as, LIV's going, that's going to be a premier event for LIV and for golf in general.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Yeah, appreciate it. We got big plans to hopefully outdo Adelaide, grow the crowd a little more. And, just make sure you guys are on your toes so that when it moves to the new venue after Kionga, you guys will have to, pick up your game.
Yeah,
Bring the heat.
Yeah, we're gonna need to. We got a lot of competition. I got to say as well, you're a fantastic dancer on the Lions Den. you brought the heat like that.
Cutting the rug.
You were trending everywhere on Instagram and TikTok with those moves. What is that? Just something you do in your spare time, Burmy, or
Something we can expect on the YouTube channel?
It's many what is it? Many a nights of a misspent youth, I think. That's probably what that is, I mean, yeah, it's always something I've been able to do, I suppose. I don't know, danced a little bit, and, that's called a pansula, that move like that.
Yeah.
It's a very South African thing to do, and it was fun. I mean, that was very funny.
I was going to say, it's very fantastic. So well done.
Thank you.
That leads me, obviously, before we won't keep you too much longer. But that's probably us done with all the LIV questions and that. But what does Dean Burmester do in his spare time? What do you do outside of golf? What's some of the hobbies?
Yeah, obviously, chasing kids around is probably number one hobby. I have to do that. But real hobbies that I enjoy doing, I enjoy fishing a lot. I tend to try and catch a lot of fish. And then I actually got into my running, if you believe it. I mean, my wife's an amazing runner. She's an athlete, so she's kind of pulling me along. I'm nowhere near her standards, but I'm working on it. And yeah, a little bit of hunting here and there, and just time spent with friends and family. I mean, on the YouTube thing, I said I tan some meat, which means I barbecue a lot, which is real. My barbecue is just here to the left of me. It's it's a flat out social thing. So I'm a very social guy, and I've always got people over at my house watching sport and enjoying sport. And hopefully this year I want to get out to an Aussie rules game, hopefully at some point. So I've got to get out and see what it's all about for sure.
The phrase tan the meat. I mentioned that to a South African I know, and he looked at me like I was cross-eyed. Like, is that a well-known South African phrase?
Yeah, it's kind of a younger generation. I mean, like when I say younger, I'm probably even too old to say it. Like the youngsters say it a lot, and they enjoy it. That's why I thought they might enjoy it on that YouTube thing, because it's obviously quite a young crowd watching for the
Yeah.
most part. And it's definitely from like the English side of South Africa. You would definitely say, oh, I'm gonna head home and tan some meat, and have a few drinks, have a few beers, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
suppose it
thought
just
I
came out
learned
of
some
nowhere.
cool shit, and he just looked at me weird.
yeah. So we'll get stuck into him. Obviously, he's not true South African.
Nah,
then.
he's been in Australia for too long.
Yeah. Now with fishing, have you been out with Cam Smith? He loves his fishing. Surely you guys can turn that into another South African Australian rivalry there.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
you could do that. Is that on the cards? Maybe.
I think we need to speak about like a little tri-series tournament, maybe, where we get the 4 Aussies, the 4 South Africans, and we do maybe some fishing, obviously a little bit of drinking, and
Nice.
some golf, and then we'll see who comes out on top on the weekend. I will tell you, I think the drinking side, I think they've probably got us. I won't lie, the boys are athletes in that department, but
Maybe.
but yeah, I think the fishing will be great. Cam's invited me a couple of times, but I just haven't been able to make it up there to Orlando or to Sawgrass area, to Wizzy. I can't remember. I'm losing my marbles.
Oh,
But anyway,
he's in
haven't been able to make it
Jacksonville,
up
I
there.
think, isn't he?
Yeah, Jacksonville. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Jacksonville.
So you guys could add the barbecuing in there as well, the tanning of the meat.
Oh, we could. I think we would win that one, hands down.
Yeah.
I'm bummed.
Actually,
Just saying.
we have seen you here
Yes.
at Grange when you were doing.
that's
what
true.
was it
On the Tuesday, you did the Thomas Foods barbecue.
Thomas
yeah,
Foods
yeah.
Bar-
right.
Yeah, we've seen your
Yeah.
skills. We can attest to that. You guys know what you're doing there. You look very comfortable. So.
Yeah, rule number 1: don't drink too much and burn everything.
Yeah.
It's a good rule to have. Are you a social golfer? Like, will you go out with your family or friends just to play a social round, or is it all just tournaments and practice when it comes to golf?
I mean, for the most part, I probably do mostly tournaments and practice. But I do enjoy a social round of golf. But I treat it as a social round of golf. Yeah, I mean, I don't treat it as anything competitive. I'll play off the same tees that they play off, and then I'll go around, and I'm not there to shoot a score. Do you know what I mean? If I feel like picking up my ball, I'll pick up my ball and mess around. I don't really play in like your Wednesday or Saturday club competitions and stuff like that too often. I'm more on the side of if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with 3 people I enjoy spending time
Imagine
with.
being paired
get
with
out there
Dean
and
Burmester.
have a few beers, listen to some music, have some fun.
I was going to say what Whitey's actually asking you, Dean, is will you play with a 25 handicapper in Whitey? And what Dean's saying is he'll play from the same tees, but he's going to drive the green on par 4s easily.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
We'll get you in
that's
the
true.
Ambrose
But
team.
yes, I would enjoy it. We both think of Louis, and I think it'll be a good day out.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, take that to the bank.
That's a verbal contract.
So that means we've got Burmy on our YouTube channel. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's a contract.
There you go. I like that. That would be good value.
All right, we'll do our couple of rapid fire questions we've come up with. We did come up with a segment name, Whitey.
I was working on it for a little bit, so I came up with Dean in regulation.
Yeah.
Or Dean in reg. The other ones were Dean side bunker, treat 'em mean, keep 'em Dean, and the Dean mile. But we'll go with Dean in reg.
Dean and Reg. All right. So quick fire questions,
That
Whitey.
took me 30 minutes.
Yeah. We'll go quick fire response. Whitey, you got the first question. So.
Yeah. If you could steal one part of another golfer's game, who would it be?
Cam Smith short game.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice.
Biggest pest in the locker room.
Well, biggest clown in the locker room, yeah.
Biggest Harold Varner the third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can see
good
that.
call. Good call.
Yeah, nice one. What's the craziest purchase you've made after a good tournament week?
Crazy, a boat. I bought houses, cars, but a boat's pretty crazy, I think.
That's
I bought fish and chips after mine. That's about. They both go in the water. I don't know, man. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
The hardest player to beat mentally.
John Rahm.
Most underrated golfer in the world right now.
Thomas Dietrich.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. The best advice another pro has given you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's I mean, another pro has given me. Well, I suppose always express yourself. That's a good one.
Nice.
I like that. Who's most likely to miss a tee time?
Garrick Higo.
Ding, ding, ding. Correct.
100 points there, man.
Lock that in.
You
Take
got
that to the bank.
You got an A+ on that exam. That's fantastic.
Didn't even think of that.
And I've got best late night eats or food on tour.
Oh, Nando's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't
Nice
mind that.
one. And last one of the rapid fire or Dean in reg or Dean in regulation.
This is Dean in
Thank
regulation.
you. Thank you, Waddy.
You're welcome.
Is hot coffee or iced coffees when on tour?
Hot coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the correct
That's
answer.
classy. move.
Well,
We did see
That's the only answer, I think.
Yeah.
we did see a lot of the players in Adelaide rocking the iced coffees. I don't know about that.
It's hot in Adelaide. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dean, thank you so much for coming on again. We've got the final 4 questions we ask all of our guests. Now, some of these are going to be a little tricky for you considering you are a LIV golfer, but we'll see how we go. The first one we ask everyone is your fantasy 4-ball or fantasy foursome. When we said fantasy foursome, Rachel Drummond laughed at us and said that means something different over here. So, but yeah, if you know Rachel, you know she loves a joke. So, one more round you get to play. It's yourself and 3 other people. Don't have to be golfers. Can be absolutely anyone. Who are you picking?
3 other people. I gotta go. Okay, Bobby Jones is in there.
Yep.
Sachin Tendulkar
Ooh, nice one.
Very nice.
and Roger Federer.
oh, I like that.
That's a good group. That's a really nice group.
Yeah, great group. Favorite golf course? We'll pick one live one that you guys play at and one just any other favorite of course that you've played or want to play.
Okay. One that we have played or that we play at this season.
Any live
Any
one
live
that
one.
you've been to or that you currently play at.
I'm gonna go Trump Bedminster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
That's good. And then we've got a course back here at Leopard Creek in South Africa,
Oh.
which is world class.
Yeah, that looked incredible. I saw a video of that just recently. That was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's a bucket list one for sure. Now, the most important question we ask everyone, and I feel like, again, by your dance moves on the Lions Den, you also feel the importance of this one. But we're obviously named after it. But the Watering Hole song, in this case, the Lions Den song, what's your party hole song either going to be, and what have been your favourites that you've had at some of the events?
So, I mean, some of them, my Thunderstruck by AC/DC is legendary.
Yeah.
I think that one just pumps everywhere. Well, I mean, there's so many. I think if you're going to do Watering Hole, you got to go I Come From a Land Down Under. I think that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And then some of the best I've heard of it, the Legion 13, they choose each other's
Yeah.
songs, which I
Yeah.
think are legend. And I think I'm a Little Teapot for Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah.
has to be
That was
great
hilarious.
of all time
Yeah.
because I think that describes him perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
You put him on the stove and then he just big boom.
Yeah.
It's just like, I love it. I think it's great. I think so. That's the great one for me.
I'll give you a little story of my own, Dean, from the golf course in the Pro-Am at LIV Adelaide. We got to the 18th tee box. Obviously, you know it pretty well in the playoff, but Tyrrell put one left, didn't like it, turned around, hadn't seen any anger from him at all, turned around and smashed the tee marker with his driver. So, yes, it does fit him perfectly.
He got very quiet on the tee box.
He got very quiet on the tee box. Yeah. And the last question is obviously, again, you're part of a team and you love the team, so this is pretty hard. But if Louis turns around to Dean and he goes, you know what, it's your team now, you know, and you had to change the name. If you had to come up with your own LIV team name and you were the captain, what would you call your LIV team name?
It's a tough question on the spot.
That's a hard question. I don't know. If you think of a rhino, a group of rhino all together is called a charge of rhino. So I think I'd go with Charge GC.
Oh,
I don't mind that at all.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
On the spot too, Dean. That's classy. That's
Yeah.
real nice.
That's
real
charged me up.
Actually,
Yeah.
while we're there, we've got to talk about. Let's talk about the rebrand because
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the
definitely.
one of the strongest rebrands. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
we haven't even seen all the merch in Adelaide. I've did a
Yeah.
little bit of a deep dive on the merch that's available with Southern
Yeah.
Guards. Very nice.
Yeah, that's
Another reason we need to get to South Africa.
Yeah.
for the next event.
absolutely.
I'll tell you what, before we go down in this, I'll give you boys a deal. You get on the plane, I'll give you the tickets. How's that sound?
Oh,
Done.
done. Absolutely done.
Where do I sign?
Again, Dean, this is verbal contract stuff.
Yeah.
We take it
Yeah.
very seriously.
No problem. You can hold me to that one, no problem.
Oh, legend. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Obviously, giving up your time. We wish you nothing but success for the rest of the year and obviously for yourself and the guys and LIV moving forward. Hopefully we can get over to see you at a couple of the events again. But yeah, mate, thank you again for coming on the Watering Hole. We really
Thank you,
appreciate
Dean.
it.
Appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate.